Hey guys, Trip here, and I just got done playing the Doom multiplayer beta. Now, I originally intended to show you my gameplay, but none of my capture software gave me satisfactory results. As such, I'm mostly going to be describing this all to you, but if you want to check out the multiplayer for yourself, it's free on Steam right now. For those of you that don't know, Doom is an upcoming first-person shooter by id Software that promises fast-paced gameplay, gory action, and a fun multiplayer mode. I've been playing all day, and to be honest, I really didn't like it at first. Not just because I'm not very good at multiplayer games, but for a variety of reasons, some of which I still have, but after I got my bearings a bit, I've been having fun. There's definite room for improvement in a variety of areas, but hopefully things will be tweaked before launch. This is a beta after all. As of now, it seems the gaming world at large disagrees with me. I know on Steam right now the reviews are very, very bad for this, and I'm not entirely sure why. I don't know, maybe people were expecting something different, or maybe people who are much better at multiplayer than I am are seeing problems and I'm not. For now, the only major problem I've been noticing is the demon. Holy shit, the demon. At various points throughout the match, players can find a power-up that turns them into a giant demon. Right now, it's ridiculously unbalanced. One hit kills everyone, its attacks are too fast and take up too much space to properly react to, and it's on the map way too often. What's worse is it seems like the demon is what's winning the match for each team, and that the Marine players are nothing more than cannon fodder. If they want to present us with a threat that requires the entire team to work in tandem to take down, then that's fine, but you can't really do that in a game that doesn't enforce teamwork. Doom isn't a game like TF2 or Overwatch, which forces players to work together by restricting them to a heavily defined playstyle. That's fine, but if that's what you're going for, then you need to balance the game around it. Balance and a clear vision are two themes I'm going to keep coming back to in this episode, as it's where the game's core problems lie. But despite everything I just said, I'm enjoying myself. The game feels like a mixture of old-school arena shooters, which focuses on pickups, fast movements, and unique weaponry, and a more modern traditional shooter like Halo with a standard 3-weapon loadout. I feel like that's another thing people are split on, by the way. Some feel like this game is a jack of all trades, not really committing to one style over the other. I can sort of see what people are saying here, especially when the game's dual nature impedes upon its balance. A good example of this can be found in the game's use of pickups. Now, I love pickups in games, and they're pretty important here. At least the health and armor pickups. The amount of armor you have can drastically change your tactics and how much damage you're willing to take. I like the fact that health doesn't regenerate on its own, forcing you to retreat to find health pickups before coming back into the fray. It encourages constant movement and prevents overly defensive gameplay. There are other pickups in this game, but they're all either overutilized or underutilized. Weapon pickups are almost non-existent, except for one or two overpowered guns that sometimes pop up on the battlefield. These guns, as well as the demon, give you an extreme tactical advantage, but some could argue that simply finding a pickup doesn't justify the tactical advantage you gain. I'm not a very good player, but the moment I find the Gauss rifle or become a demon, I instantly wreck everything. Is that fair? I suppose if this game were an arena shooter, but it isn't. I think. And therein lies the main problem. There are two competing visions within this game, one that prioritizes gunplay and one that prioritizes map control. Instead of these visions complementing each other, they seem to be fighting one another. Power-ups like quad damage and super speed are pretty underutilized and underwhelming, which is strange considering the importance of other power-ups like the demon. If the game wants to have a focus on power-ups, then maybe there should be more of them on the map, or multiple kinds. Additional power-ups could also be used to even the odds against the demon. But at the same time, a lot of what could have been pickups are relegated to hack modules, basically perks you get every time you respawn. Most of them are pretty useless, I've found, but a few of them probably would have worked better as minor pickups on the field. So let's talk about the game modes. The only modes available in the beta are Team Deathmatch and Warpath. Deathmatch is pretty self-explanatory, but it's worth discussing nonetheless. I've never been the biggest fan of team deathmatch and multiplayer games. Personally, I feel like my actions are never contributing enough to the team for good or ill. There's no tangible goal other than defeating the enemy as many times as possible, and when you have several people on a team, it makes your individual contributions feel small. I feel like Doom compensates for this by making the act of beating other players so much fun. It feels satisfying to get the drop on other players, to beat them in one-on-one duels. Enemies explode into a hilarious red haze that never quite gets old to me. My complaints about Team Deathmatch are by no means unique to Doom, so I can't really blame them for using a mode I've never personally been a fan of. Thankfully, the final product will have additional modes to play around with. Warpath is weird. On the surface, it sort of reminds me of that mode in TF2, where each team is trying to capture a minecart filled with explosives in order to blow up the enemy's base. It's one of my favorite modes in TF2, so you'd think I'd enjoy Warpath. However, in Warpath, instead of the zone you're trying to capture being occupied by something useful, it's just an empty, highlighted space that's always moving. Players have to stay in the space in order to get points for their team, while the enemy tries to destroy you and take the space for themselves. It all feels rather arbitrary and unsatisfying to play. The Warpath itself doesn't really do anything, it's not a tangible threat to the other team, and you just feel exposed whenever you're in it. Further, it sort of conflicts with the fast-paced design philosophy of the game to have a mode that forces you to slowly crawl around the map like a sitting duck. If the Warpath moved a bit faster, or if it posed an actual threat to the other team, I definitely enjoy it more, but as of now, I've mostly been avoiding this mode and sticking to Team Deathmatch. So, after all my negative comments, why is it that I still kind of like this game? Well, it's pretty fun. I love the fluid movement, I love being able to climb and double jump. Some think the speed needs to be increased, but I'm personally ambivalent on that. I wouldn't mind if they upped the speed, but it's not a priority for me. I like the guns in this game. They definitely need some balancing, but I thought they were all fun to use. Besides, nothing beats using a rocket launcher as an anti-infantry weapon. That just never gets old to me. I love finding a bunch of armor and running headlong into the fray. There's something satisfying about building up your resources like that in a way that alters your tactics. All in all, I want this game to succeed. There is room out there for a modern shooter that pays homage to the best features of old school games. As of now, Doom is a fun, flashy diversion, but hopefully upon release it can live up to its name. But yeah, that was just something that was on my mind. Hey guys, Trip here. If you liked that video, why not watch some more? Hit that like button and make sure to share this video on social media. If you want more Psychotrip, check out my Patreon, where you can find behind the scenes stuff, links to music I like, and even follow my personal blog. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.